Hello everyone. Virgo head over heels, not the polished, composed, I have my feelings under control version of caring for someone. The other kind, the kind that arrives without consulting your schedule or your readiness or your carefully maintained sense of what is appropriate to feel and when. The kind that takes a person who believed they knew how to navigate their own interior and leaves them suddenly, completely, with no warning, unable to find the floor, unable to locate the steady, familiar ground of themselves that was always there before this person arrived. That is what you have done to someone simply by being what you are. You have taken someone's ground, and they have been walking without it in the specific, slightly breathless, I cannot quite find my footing quality of someone who has fallen into something too large and too real and too completely unlike anything before it to navigate with the ordinary equipment. Take what is yours today. What resonates, let it reach the places that love has made tender without always being treated tenderly. What does not, release it gently. But for those of you who felt something catch when I said you have taken someone's ground who recognize the specific quality of being the cause of something large in another person, this reading carries the full picture of what that something actually is. Let me speak about what in love means the actual, honest. This is what the phrase contains meaning, rather than the greeting card version that floats above specificity without landing anywhere real. In love is different from loving. Loving is sustained, practiced, the daily, deliberate, I choose this quality of a feeling that has settled into a committed relationship with its own expression. In love is something that happens to a person rather than something they do. The specific, involuntary, this was not a decision quality of a feeling that arrived without being invited and has been entirely resistant to the ordinary methods of management ever since. Soft sigh. This person did not decide to feel this way about you. That is the specific and important thing to understand about the quality of what they carry. They did not assess the situation and conclude that loving you was the optimal response. They encountered you in whatever specific and unrepeatable way the encounter happened, and something occurred in them that preceded any decision. That arrived before the rational mind had a chance to weigh in. That was simply present with the full, immediate, absolutely certain quality of something that does not ask permission, and it has been present every day since. Not fading, which is what in love is supposed to do, according to the conventional wisdom that treats the falling as a temporary state that matures into the more sustainable loving over time. For this person, it has not matured in the direction of less. It has matured in the direction of more, of increasing specificity, of deepening rather than settling, of a feeling that knows itself better the longer it exists, that has been clarified by time rather than diminished by it. Hear them today, because this voice is pressing forward with a warmth and an urgency that tells me it needs to reach you now before the formal version of it arrives in whatever form it chooses. I am in love with you. And I need to say that simply without the qualification, without the careful framing that protects the speaker from the full exposure of what those words mean. Because the simple version is the true version, and I am done offering you the protected version when the true one is what you deserve. I am in love with you. In the specific involuntary, I did not choose this, but I would choose it if I could way that the phrase was always meant to carry before it got worn down by overuse into something smaller than itself. I think about you in the way that only happens when something has found its way past all the ordinary defenses and made itself at home in the interior. In the first moments of the morning before the day, has had a chance to organize itself into tasks and logistics, in the middle of things that should have my full attention and do not, because you have taken the portion of attention that was supposed to be available for everything else. In the specific, quiet, I am not even trying to think about you and here you are way of something that has become involuntary. That simply happens because you are where my mind goes when it is not being directed anywhere else. Ugh. And what I feel when you are there in that specific unbidden, nobody asked me to think about you, but I am presence is something that I have been trying to find the accurate words for since the first time I understood what it was. Not warmth, though warmth is present. Not desire, though that is present too. Something underneath both of those. Something that feels, when I am honest about it, like recognition, like encountering something that was already familiar before I encountered it. Like you were the answer to a question I had been carrying without knowing I was carrying it. I want to be with you. Not in the provisional, let us see what this becomes way, in the decided way, in the I have been in love with you long enough to know that in love is not a phase for me in relation to you way. In the way that has survived every reasonable argument against it, and every season that was not optimal, and every moment when walking away would have been the simpler choice. The wanting has survived all of that, which tells me something about its nature that the phrase in love alone cannot fully convey. Oh, Virgo, feel that not with the assessment running, with the part of you that exists before the assessment, the quiet, honest, pre analytical place that knows things before the mind has finished processing them. Let what was just said reach that place and notice what it produces there, not what you think it should produce, what it actually produces. Because the ring in this reading's energy, the specific symbol that spirit included alongside everything else, is not accidental, is not decoration. It is the specific signal of someone whose love has a direction, not just a feeling, but a direction. Whose in love is not static, but moving, pointed toward something, toward a version of this connection that is more formalized, more committed, more structurally present in the visible daily life of two people than what currently exists. The feeling has a destination, and the destination is not vague. Soft sigh. Now I want to speak to you to what this love asks of you in its receiving. Because love of this quality, the involuntary deepening survived everything, has a direction kind asks something specific of the person it is offered to, not reciprocation in exactly this form. What you feel is what you feel, and the quality of what is being offered does not obligate a specific response. But honesty, the specific, clear, this is where I actually stand honesty, that love of this quality deserves in return. Not managed honesty, the real kind, the kind that requires you to locate yourself fully in the undefended place and bring what you find there into the open between you. Not because the finding will necessarily be comfortable, but because someone who loves you with this quality of involuntary, deepening, direction having love deserves to know where you actually stand, not where you think they want you to stand, not where standing would be most convenient for the management of the dynamic. Where you actually stand, and where you actually stand, Spirit is pressing this forward with a specificity that I want to honor rather than soften, is not as far from them as the careful management of your own interior has been suggesting to both of you. The distance between what you feel and what you have been allowing to show has been maintained by the specific Virgo habit of not offering more than what has been confirmed as safe to offer, of keeping the full interior temperature private until external evidence provides sufficient justification for revealing it. The evidence has arrived. In the form of the most unambiguous signal available, someone telling you directly, without the protective framing, that they are in love with you. And the response that evidence deserves is the honest one from the actual place, not the Virgo processed, carefully calibrated, let me not give more than I am certain about version. The real one. A love like no other is what Spirit named this, and the naming is specific. Not a love like some others you have encountered. Not a love in the range of what you have experienced before, like no other. In the specific, unprecedented, this did not exist in this form before this person, quality of something that arrived new, that has no precedent in either person's history, and that is therefore genuinely, completely, in the fullest possible sense, a first. Firsts deserve to be received as firsts, not through the overlay of what came before, not filtered through the accumulated experience of what love has been in previous chapters, with the specific, open, I am going to meet this as the new thing it actually is, quality of someone who is genuinely present to something unprecedented rather than organizing it into a familiar category. Be present to it, Virgo. In the full, nothing managed, I am actually here for this quality of someone who has decided finally, completely, with the full weight of everything they have been through, that they are willing to be in the presence of something extraordinary without immediately reaching for the mechanism that makes it ordinary and therefore safe. It is not safe. Love like this is never safe. It is real, which is something entirely different from safe and considerably more valuable. Real things carry risk. Real things ask everything. Real things cannot be held at the managed distance that safe things permit. And what is being offered, this involuntary, deepening, survived everything, direction having, like no other love, is the real thing. Soft sigh. Receive it as such, not with the safety of the assessment running, with the specific courage of someone who has decided that what is real is worth the risk of being fully in it, who has decided, and this is the decision this reading is pressing you toward, that the version of love available to someone who is fully present is more valuable than the version available to someone who is protected. Head over heels, in love, like no other, with direction, with depth, with the specific, involuntary, I did not choose this, but here it is quality of something that arrived and stayed and deepened and is now finally, with the courage that the depth required, being offered directly to you. Ooh, catch it, Virgo, with both hands, with your whole heart, in the full, real, nothing between us way that this kind of love was always meant to be received. It is genuine, it is extraordinary, and it is completely, unconditionally, in the most specific sense, available yours. If this reading found you today, if something here gave language to what someone has been carrying toward you and gave you the grounded courage to meet it fully, stay close. Subscribe and come back. Because the story of a love like no other finding its full expression between two people who are finally both completely present for it, that is a story worth witnessing all the way through. And the next reading will be there for every extraordinary, real, nothing held back step of it.